In the frozen forests of Finland, during the brutal winter of 1939, one man became a legend. Soviet soldiers called him Belaya Smrt, the White Death. In just 100 days, he achieved what military historians still struggle to believe: over 500 confirmed kills as a sniper. This is the true story of Simo Häyhä, the deadliest marksman in military history. Welcome. Before we begin this incredible true story, tell us in the comments which country you're watching from. And if you want to hear more real stories from history, don't forget to subscribe, because some heroes don't exist in fiction. They existed in the harshest conditions imaginable. Simo Häyhä was born on December 17th, 1905, in the municipality of Rautjärvi, near the Russian border in southeastern Finland. He was not born a soldier.
Contact!
He was born
Enemy
into a
sighted,
family of
northwest!
farmers in one of the coldest, most unforgiving regions of Europe. Growing up in rural Finland meant learning to survive in extreme conditions. Winters reached -40 degrees Celsius. Forests stretched for hundreds of miles. The land was harsh, but it created hard people. From a young age, Simo learned to hunt. In Finland, hunting wasn't a sport. It was survival. Food had to be obtained during brief summers and preserved for long winters. His father taught him to shoot, and Simo proved to be naturally gifted. By his teenage years, Simo was known locally as an exceptional marksman. He would spend hours in the forest, hunting moose, deer, and smaller game. He learned patience, learned to read the forest, learned to remain motionless for hours in freezing temperatures. Standing only 5 feet 3 inches tall, 160 centimeters, Simo was small, even by Finnish standards. But what he lacked in size, he made up for in determination and skill. In 1925, at age 20, Simo completed his mandatory military service in the Finnish army. He trained as a member of the bicycle battalion, mobile infantry that could quickly traverse Finland's forest roads. His marksmanship skills were noted, but nothing suggested he would become extraordinary. After military service, Simo returned to farming. He joined the Finnish volunteer militia, the Civil Guard, Suojeluskunta, where he continued practicing marksmanship. He competed in shooting competitions and consistently won, but he remained a simple farmer, living quietly near the border. Then, on November 30th, 1939, everything changed. The Soviet Union, under Joseph Stalin, had been expanding its influence over Eastern Europe. Finland, having gained independence from Russia only in 1917, stood in the way of Soviet strategic interests. Stalin demanded territorial concessions from Finland, military bases, border adjustments, land exchanges. Finland refused. The Soviets expected a quick victory. They had 1 million troops. Finland had 300,000. The odds seemed impossible. On November 30th, 1939, without declaring war, the Soviet Union invaded Finland with 450,000 troops, 2,000 tanks, and 1,000 aircraft. The Finns had outdated equipment, limited ammunition, and virtually no tanks or anti-aircraft weapons. The world expected Finland to fall within weeks. Simo Häyhä was 33 years old when he received his mobilization papers. He reported to his unit armed with his personal rifle, a Finnish M28-30, a variant of the Mosin Nagant rifle. This would become the most lethal weapon in the Winter War. He was assigned to the 6th Company of JR 34, Infantry Regiment 34, on the Kola River front. This would become one of the most contested areas of the entire war. The Finnish strategy was simple. They couldn't match Soviet numbers, so they had to be smarter. They used guerrilla tactics, ambushes, and intimate knowledge of their own territory. The Soviets advanced in massive columns along roads. They had to, given their tanks and artillery. Finnish soldiers, including Simo, attacked from the forests, disappeared into the snow, and struck again elsewhere. Simo's role as a sniper was crucial. Finnish doctrine understood that killing enemy officers, machine gunners, and artillery spotters could paralyze entire units. One well-placed shot could save dozens of Finnish lives. Simo developed techniques that would define his legendary status. 1. No scope. Unlike most snipers, Simo refused to use a telescopic sight. His reasoning was practical. Scopes could fog up in extreme cold. The glass could reflect sunlight and reveal his position, and scopes required raising one's head higher to aim. Simo used only iron sights on his M28-30 rifle. 2. Snow camouflage. Simo wore all-white winter camouflage and positioned himself in snowbanks. Before shooting, he would pack snow in front of his position to prevent muzzle blast from disturbing the snow and creating a visible cloud. 3. Ice in the mouth. To prevent his breath from condensing in the frozen air and giving away his position, Simo would keep snow or ice in his mouth. His breath would melt the snow rather than creating visible vapor. 4. Choosing positions. Simo selected firing positions with meticulous care. He preferred locations with natural cover, multiple escape routes, and backgrounds that would hide his silhouette. He never shot from the same position twice. 5. Timing. He fired during moments of natural sound, when wind rustled trees, when artillery fired, when Soviet soldiers were moving and making noise. This made it harder to pinpoint his location. The Kola riverfront became Simo's hunting ground. Soviet forces attacked repeatedly, trying to break through Finnish lines. Each attack meant more targets. Simo's daily routine was brutal. He would wake before dawn, move to his chosen position, and remain there for up to 20 hours in temperatures that regularly reached -40 degrees Celsius. He wore multiple layers of clothing, but couldn't move much or risk being spotted. His kill count began to rise. Within the first weeks, Simo had confirmed over 50 kills. Finnish officers verified each kill when possible. This wasn't bravado, it was military intelligence. Knowing how many enemy soldiers were being eliminated helped commanders understand the effectiveness of sniper operations. By the end of December 1939, Simo had over 150 confirmed kills. Soviet commanders noticed that their officers were being systematically eliminated in certain sectors. They began to realize a single sniper was operating with devastating effectiveness. The Soviets called him Belaya Smert, the White Death. They sent counter-sniper teams specifically to find and eliminate him. Special units were deployed. Artillery was fired at suspected sniper positions, but Simo survived, and the kill count kept rising as Simo's reputation grew. So did Soviet efforts to kill him. The Red Army couldn't allow one Finnish soldier to continue eliminating their personnel with such effectiveness. Soviet counter-sniper teams, some of the best marksmen in the Red Army, were sent to the Kola front. Their mission: find and kill the White Death. But Simo was always one step ahead. He understood that the moment he fired, he had perhaps 30 seconds before return fire would come. He had escape routes planned. He would fire, immediately displace, and move to an alternate position before Soviet troops could react. On several occasions, Soviet artillery would shell areas where Simo was suspected to be hiding. Entire sections of forest would be destroyed. But Simo survived, hidden in positions that seemed impossible. One documented incident tells of Soviet troops finding Simo's firing position after he had left. They counted the spent cartridge casings, over 40 in a single day from that position alone. The psychological impact on Soviet troops was immense. Soldiers became afraid to move in certain areas. Officers refused to wear their insignia, knowing it made them targets. Some units requested transfers away from the Kola. By January 1940, Simo Häyhä's confirmed kill count exceeded 200. Military historians debate the exact number because not all kills could be verified in combat conditions. The Finnish military officially credited him with over 500 confirmed sniper kills. But that number doesn't tell the complete story. In addition to sniper kills, Simo also used a Suomi KP-31 submachine gun during close-range engagements and defensive operations. With this weapon, he's credited with approximately 200 additional kills, though these are less precisely documented. This means Simo Häyhä may have killed over 700 enemy soldiers in approximately 100 days of combat. To put this in perspective, that's roughly 5 to 7 kills per day, more than any other sniper in any war in recorded history, achieved in some of the worst combat conditions imaginable against an enemy actively hunting him. Modern military snipers with advanced optics, training, and equipment rarely achieve such numbers even in multi-year deployments. On March 6, 1940, just days before the Winter War would end, Simo Häyhä's incredible run came to a violent halt. The details are disputed, but what is known is this. Simo was hit in the face by an exploding bullet or explosive round. Some accounts say it was a counter-sniper's lucky shot. Others suggest it was an explosive round from close combat. The damage was catastrophic. The bullet entered his left cheek and exited through his jaw, taking most of the left side of his face with it. By all medical understanding of the time, the wound should have been instantly fatal. Fellow soldiers found him unconscious, face destroyed, barely alive. They evacuated him from the front lines, expecting him to die during transport. He arrived at field hospital in critical condition. Doctors gave him minimal chance of survival. The left side of his jaw was gone. His cheek was destroyed. The wound was infected. And this was 1940, before modern antibiotics, before advanced reconstructive surgery. Simo Häyhä fell into a coma. For 11 days, Simo remained unconscious. Doctors did what they could with limited resources. The war continued around him. On March 13, 1940, the Winter War officially ended. Finland had survived, barely, but had lost territory. On the same day the war ended, Simo Häyhä woke up. His recovery was considered miraculous by medical standards of the time. The left side of his face was permanently disfigured. He would undergo multiple reconstructive surgeries over the following years. His jaw had to be rebuilt. He would never look the same. But he was alive. When word spread that the White Death had survived, it became a symbol for Finland itself. Battered, wounded, but undefeated, Simo Häyhä was promoted from corporal to second lieutenant by Field Marshal Mannerheim himself, a rare honor for someone of his rank. But Simo didn't want fame. He didn't want to be a hero. He wanted to return to farming. After recovering from his wounds, Simo did exactly that. He returned to Rautjärvi, or what remained of it, as parts of the region had been ceded to the Soviet Union. He bought land and became a farmer and hunter again. He rarely spoke about the war. When journalists tried to interview him in later years, he was reluctant. When asked how he became such an effective sniper, his answer was simple: practice. When asked if he regretted killing so many people, he said, "I did what I was told to do, as well as I could." Simo never married, had no children, and lived a quiet life for decades. He became a successful moose hunter and dog breeder. He occasionally participated in veterans' events, but avoided public attention as decades passed. Simo Häyhä's story began to spread beyond Finland. Military historians studying sniper warfare discovered his records. The numbers seemed impossible, but they were verified by multiple sources. Modern sniper training programs study his techniques. The tactics he developed, minimalist equipment, intimate terrain knowledge, patience and psychological warfare against enemy troops, are still taught today. Simo lived to be 96 years old, passing away on April 1st, 2002. In his final years, he was asked if he had any regrets about his actions during the war. His response was characteristically Finnish: "I only did my duty and what I was told to do, as well as I could." Simo Häyhä's story is remarkable, not just for the numbers, but for what it represents. He wasn't a professional soldier. He was a farmer who found himself defending his homeland against impossible odds. He used a basic rifle with the iron sights. He wore simple winter camouflage. He relied on skills learned hunting in Finnish forests. And with these simple tools, he became the deadliest sniper in military history. His story has been told and retold, sometimes exaggerated, sometimes simplified. But the core facts remain verified by military records. Over 500 confirmed kills in approximately 100 days using a rifle without a scope in minus 40-degree weather against an enemy that was actively hunting him. The White Death wasn't just a sniper. He was a symbol of Finnish sisu, a uniquely Finnish concept meaning strength, determination, and perseverance against impossible odds. Today, Simo Häyhä is remembered as a national hero in Finland. His story is taught in military academies worldwide, and his techniques continue to influence modern sniper training nearly a century later. Thank you for watching this true story. If you want to hear more incredible stories from history, subscribe and let us know in the comments which historical figure we should cover next. Because sometimes the most unbelievable stories are the ones that actually happened.